Green Fruit, Chapter 16. Moya had never been big on decorating, but he found himself inspired. Being a murderous machine wasn't new to him. Being a father was. Like a bowerbird bringing home colorful bits of glass, he started to become preoccupied with newborn nesting. Reapers had in fact invaded. I know, right? Everyone was shocked. Citadel politics boiled down to, okay, maybe we won't boot the Alliance. We need their ships. And Udina was taken into custody. Udina was, as usual, absolutely no help to anyone. He denied that he was indoctrinated, so that answered whether or not he knew how he had gotten that way. Hackett sent Moya to Mars. Got Liara back. Edie got shiny and mobile. Karin got the crap kicked out of him. Moya started to build a mobile for Grace after that mission. He brought home some reflective-looking material from the ex-Dr. Ava. He hadn't asked Edie if she wanted it back. It now hung in a spiral metal spin over Grace's crib. Karin had been unimpressed with the burgeoning art, but Moya had insisted. Come on, Karin. I need to contribute in some way to what she sees every day. I can't be only kill and tell. Kill and tell? After mission briefings, Karin. She has to hear about it. It's important. No swearing. But graphic mentions of exploding bodies? Well, yeah. She likes it. I doubt the artistic or safety merits of a hanging shard of metal over her crib. Pfft, let's be realistic here. If something's going to kill her, it won't be that. Not reassuring. We can get a scalpel and put it up on the mobile too. Like a little sword of Damocles. Moya leaned over Grace's crib, distracted. Right, honey? Wait, no swearing. Not Damocles. Cuticles. Just think of it, Karin. Metaphorically adorable. It is, in fact, horrifying. And no. We can encase it in something that would help with teething if she manages to grab it. No. We need to involve Grace in our lives, Karin. I believe I have that covered. Fine. Rub it in that I have to leave. And occasionally, I do as well, particularly with emergencies such as Kaden Alenko. That wasn't my fault. I'm certain it was. Okay, it was. Edie, can you find a non-toxic, squishy, and shiny, sparkling thing to encase this bit of metal in? Of course, Commander. There. Problem solved. That is a matter of opinion, Cherie. Moya took Grace with him on his rounds, significantly cheering up the populace. And maybe that's why nobody hit him up for ridiculous favors. Garrus had tons of authority now, and Moya was sure he could just send an elite squad of Turians off to kill anybody he wanted. Thane only had the one son, and he was safely on board. Liara could get anything she wanted for herself. Javik had a rocky start, but here Moya was, leaning over Grace's crib again, securing another shiny, spinning thing to her mobile. Hey, honey. This is a Prothean memory shard. It might be the only one left in the galaxy, and I thought it was pretty. Javik wanted you to have it. Okay, that's a bit of a lie. I wanted Javik to give it to me because he mentioned that you would be delicious in a certain sauce. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure you're yummy. He tickled her toes and she kicked and stuck her tongue out. Yeah, you're yummy. Yeah, you are. I'm sure of it. But still, when Protheans discuss eating human babies, regardless of the merits of absolute yumminess, there's a price to pay. And ta-da! Here it is. I promised him he could have it back. He just has to figure out how. First, I have to figure out how. The mobile grew and found treasures and offered gifts. Jack offered to get Grace a tattoo, but he demurred on the grounds that Karin would kill both of them. Not immediately, but painfully. Probably death by tattoo over a series of months. He speculated possibly eyeballs would be involved ultimately. Jack was still trying to think of a suitable substitute, but settled on being impressed that he was simultaneously in awe and terrified of his wife for very good reasons. Garrus provided a Turian luck spire, a hammered metal spiral that looked like barbaric glinting platinum. He said it had been a gift from the Primarch. Thane had carved a figurine of a mythical drilled dragon he named a Tiarak, the material looking like marbled sandstone in the blasted yellows and oranges of Rakana, sinuous coils and arching spines, its eyes like faceted obsidian. It was all impractical and unique as crib decor, but Edie had assured him that she would keep it all in an anti-grav field that meant Grace was safe from her tendency to be grabby and from any falling hazard. It added blue Mass Effect plasma and sparkles to the whole deal, doubling as a nightlight. Even Karin approved of that. Edie managed the field so it was now a globe of floating mementos. Grace was transfixed at the moment, and so was Moya, as he stared not at the mobile but at the seashell in his hand. Hey, honey. Daddy had a rough day. Remember Morden? He made you laugh because he sang funny. This is for him. He won't be around anymore. He released the shell into the field and watched it spin in its new course and gravity, imagining the sub-processing Edie kept in place to make sure Grace got the best view. Then he lifted tortured eyes to Karin, who was watching him solemnly from the corner couch, her datapad tilted forward. He was so tired. The bellicose future of the Krogan assured, he wanted to mourn for the short-lived Solarian who had died for them. Most of the Krogan he had just saved would have probably killed and spit-roasted Morden on sight. Solarian jerky came through, though. He was so very tired. Karin watched him as he walked to the couch and arranged himself in a near-fetal position with his head on her lap, facing into the dark leather and closing his eyes. Right now he didn't want anything else. Grief stripped out his other thoughts. Grace was safe. Karin was safe. Morden was not. Karin stroked her fingers through his hair. She knew about Morden. He'd let her know on his shuttle ride back to the Normandy. They'd faced grief so often it was commonplace. She was used to him waking suddenly from nightmares, him calling Ashley's name or the names of other people. He'd told her about the people she had not known. She had known many of them. She knew Morden. He did not have to explain. The daily and common experience of her reading on her datapad was weirdly comforting as his wit was wanting. His energy had bled out on radioactive Tuchanka ground. He told her, "Read to me." He couldn't see her as she hesitated. "Read what, Cherie?" "Whatever you're reading." "This is about wounds infected by arachnid venom." "Works for me." She hesitated again, but she knew him, and she didn't question most of his bizarre whims, humorous or otherwise. And that in itself was also comforting. To not have to explain. Arachni venom includes different peptides and substances affecting sodium, calcium, and potassium channels and neurons, and also glutamate and acetylcholine receptors. Arachni sting victims develop symptoms such as pain and swelling in the site of puncture, necrosis, pyrexia, pulmonary edema, respiratory distress, hypertension, kidney function, and death. Treatment protocol in the case of critically ill patients includes supportive measures. He interrupted her to say, Morden would like this. Her fingers continued to stroke through his hair. He curled up a little tighter, his arms wrapping around one of her thighs, which she eased up to allow him to use it as a pillow. She kept reading. Normalcy. This was normal, him causing irreparable harm. Though it usually did not involve saving whole species. Tuchanka and Palavin rejoiced, but in this room the story was different. It involved losing important parts of his heart as people he loved died on missions he chose. He had been the one to set the Arachni Queen back into the galaxy. Twice. His wife was now compelled to stay on top of treatment. Right. Normal. He did not open his eyes because he had faith Grace was there and would be there. That if she cried, he would hold her, and her eyes would anchor him in each moment. He embraced exhaustion and his wife's thigh, not with desperation, but with faith that normal between them would hopefully save more beings than it cost the galaxy at large. But Morden's death would always be emblazoned with Moya's name. And he had no idea what a calcium channel had to do with the Arachni sting. That made no sense. Was that bones? Teeth? Why not just say that? His bizarre frustration at the things he did not understand faded as he held his tongue and listened to hers, thinking again that Morden would appreciate this as a memorial, and that he'd have to wake up at some point and do it again tomorrow.